Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is a prudent woman doesn't want a man from the streets. So, before I get started, I just wanted to say that I'm speaking from a place of love, understanding, and that I've been there, done that, and I'm black just like you out there. But at the same time, it would be a disservice to black people if we don't talk about and get some type of resolution to the issues that we're facing in our communities that keep us going around in a circle over and over again, okay? So, I want to continue. I wanted to start off by saying that a man from the streets is a guy who deals drugs, steals from others, assaults, and murders others to make a living. And you may be saying that you know many women who have careers such as being doctors, nurses, bankers, accountants, and other business professionals that are in relationships with men from the street. This is very true. But let's look at the definition of the word prudent. Prudent, acting with or showing care and thought for the future. Okay, so this is not to say that a particular sister isn't smart or intelligent, but she may lack being prudent. And I find that an issue within our people. We live so much for today because we're so much in survival mode that we don't at times think about the future, which can be our downfall, okay? And I also want to say a prudent woman understands that quality is more important than quantity. Okay, so the quality of what a man is bringing you, as far as his characteristics, his morals, um, how he feels about God, how he feels about being committed in a relationship, being a father, being around to be a father. These things are quality. Someone buying you a Louis Vuitton bag, someone paying your high expensive rent, or things of that nature, that's considered quantity. Okay? But a prudent woman knows the difference. I believe it is hard on some black women because they, just like any race of woman, truly desires a man to make as much or more money than her. And I think that is an issue within our community as well, especially with black women, especially with them educating themselves at a more higher rate, statistically speaking, than the African American man, because, that's an imbalance right there. Most women, unless they're extremely wealthy and just really don't care, they're pretty much looking, even wealthy women sometimes, but they're pretty much, wanting a man, on the same level as them, or it would be beneficial to be higher than them. And I think with black women and black men, we really run into that problem. And let's face it, some of it was systemically set up, for the black man to not be able to financially support his family. So the black woman and black man would have, you know, uh, discourse in the home, arguments and whatnot, and the woman feeling like she's the breadwinner and she's the man. So it's just a lot of turmoil, that's going on. But that still can't stop us though. Okay, so a man that makes quick money can be appealing to the unconscious sister, and I say unconscious. I say mentally unconscious because a wise woman understands that ill gotten gain takes away from the lives of those who obtain it by dishonest scales. So, no matter how, good this brother may seem, um, and I'm not saying that there's brothers out there that don't have good qualities that's out in the street. But the reality is that it's ill-gotten gain because he's getting his money in a way that is not prosperous. Okay, and because there's different ways you can make your money. That doesn't mean you're prosperous. You might be rich, you might have money, but it does not mean that you're doing it in a way that serves a purpose, especially to God. Okay, and dishonest scales. When you out there in the street, you got to get it how you live. You got to short some people. You got to do whatever you got to do out there to flip your money. So I want to continue. A woman with wisdom understands the power of influence, of her influence that she has over a man's heart. And it is her job to influence him in the right direction. So, for example, as women, we have the power, more power than we think. So it's not about control, but power. A lot of times guys, they drive the big fancy cars and, they buy all those, gold necklaces and flash all that money. It's like a peacock spreading its feathers to attract a female mate. So they do it to impress us, just as well as we wear hair and we wear eyelashes and, we wear that pretty dress to attract a man. And my point is, if we as black women, which as a whole, or at least majority of us, because no one's going to, be 100% on the boat, that's understandable. But if more black women would say, no, I don't think that I want a drug dealer. I want a guy that goes to work every day. And they really meant it. And that man cares for you. Okay, he'll go out and do it. He will go out and he will get a better job, or he will cut out what he's doing or leave you alone. But as a black woman, you've got to be strong enough, and more black women have to implement this for the black man to change, because it's us as black women that control the element and environment. Okay? So we need to help our black men out. Okay? A woman who truly cares about a man knows that although she cannot control him, so you can't control a man, but she cares enough about his life to want to see him off the streets where there is nothing but a dead end road to prison, death, or selling his soul down a road of no return. And it's especially sad for brothers, like, I said before that, they have a good personality. Not all of them are extremely rough, but, once you're in that lifestyle so long, it begins to overtake you, no matter who you are. Okay? And it sends them down a road of no return. A lot of times. I mean, it's a high percentage of the chance that they're not going to get out in enough time. That's why it's a bad decision to even go down that road in the beginning. Okay? A truly intelligent woman understands the struggle that black men go through to advance in life, but encourages him anyway. She would rather him work at McDonald's or a customer service job, one of those jobs that, in the hood they call lame. She would rather him work a lame job than to see him throw his life away. Throw his life away. Okay? A real woman also understands that to have any children with a man who lives in the fast lane, so that's out in the street, has a high incidence of her children growing up without a father. Now, if that doesn't bother you, that's cool, But the truth is, there's a high incidence of your child growing up without a father. If he's out there engaging in those type of activities, he's going to be in jail for a long time, or he's going to end up in a casket, or he could end up on drugs himself because, sometimes, brothers, they end up testing or tasting their pack. And so there's all sorts of variables how a black man's life can be destroyed out there in the streets. A woman who truly looks out for a man's life would put his safety over wanting extra finances. And brothers, that's when you know you got a real woman. Okay? When a woman, like what woman doesn't like nice things? Doesn't want her man to spoil her with little things, that may be a little extra. But a woman that would push you out in the street to obtain those things versus you being safe and at least being realistic enough to expect you to get them the right way or take more time to achieve those things, that is not a good woman. I don't care how many degrees she has, you know, um, or whatever, or a woman, or she's not a woman who knows herself. So it's either she's not a good woman or she does not know who she truly is and her true essence of being a goddess and a queen. Even if she calls herself that, because no real woman wants a man out there risking her life and his life. Okay? A lady understands that the man usually leads the home front. The man is usually the head of the house. But how can you follow a man who isn't quite sure of where he is going? And I think that's a problem in our community. There's so many black men, not all, but there's a lot of black men that want to be head. They want to be leader. They know that, if they don't know anything else, they know they're supposed to be head, but they don't know how to lead, and then they'll get upset at some women when they're going the opposite direction, and that's why it's important for our young black male boys to be raised up properly so that they will be able to lead and a woman to be able to follow. But you can't follow a man that's going down a ditch. You can't follow a man who is lost himself. He doesn't know where he's going himself. Also, furthermore, increasing the risk of putting her own life in danger. We've seen it before. The sisters are getting shot, some of them. Being with a brother, she might have a job or whatever, but she has to have her a bad boy or whatever the case may be, and she ends up getting killed along with him. Or the bullet misses him and kills her child and her, or something of that magnitude. So there's a lot of factors that have to be considered, being a woman. So I also wanted to talk about the sisters that are infatuated with hood life. So you've got the book smart sister that still might want the bad boy, but I want to talk about the sister that's cooking the crack with him. She's hiding the guns and everything, and this is her thug life too. And a lot of times, it's all they know. Their fathers or brothers may all get down in the streets. So she's feeling like Queen Pen or something, She's, a lot of these sisters, they're feeling, like they're boss bees or whatever. All these terms that are negative that are keeping our people conditioned, basically. She may enjoy the life on edge. So some women get turned on by that, but will be the same one crying about her child's father that is in prison or in the casket. And that goes for some of these elderly black women too. They've got these sons out here and they've raised them on that. They've allowed their sons to be influenced by other men that were going down the wrong path. So they're the elders of the projects and the hoods. These elder black women. And they want to be the same one crying on the news when their son ends up dead, but they was the ones that raised their sons like that or allowed him to be exposed. Even if you grow up, even if you live in the project area, that is no excuse. It is your job as a woman to guide your children, no matter what. So we need not to cry when they end up in the casket or in a 25-year jail sentence. We need to cry the moment that we see that crack or that gun underneath their bed. That's when we need to start crying and hollering. Okay? And little does she and women like her know that she is a big contributor to raising black men who lack a promising future. So I want to repeat that again. Sisters, we got to take responsibility. See, I know a lot of the fathers aren't there, but we got to take a lot of the responsibility as well, half of it, because we are big contributors to raising black men who lack a promising future. Her mind is heavily programmed by what she sees on TV. I gotta have a hot boy. I gotta have the bling bling. So all this programming, this electronic programming that's got us looking for a man that is dangerous and who really doesn't exist. There's not too many successful dope dealers without criminal records, not running from the law. Okay? The reality though. So my point is that this type of system must be re-educated. It's time that we evolve as people. And I want to put this as two parts because it's kind of it's rather lengthy. It's not too lengthy, but it's kind of lengthy. And I know how it is to listen to long podcasts and episodes. So please look forward to the second part of this. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. I speak out of love. I love you all. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.